1062 Bangor Street in San Diego. Going to go ahead and do a quick inspection here on the roof. What we've got is modified bitumen torch down roofing material that is in good condition, consistent with probably the 2018 remodel. What we're looking for when we are looking at a modified bitumen torch down roof is general wear and tear, any exposed fiberglass, a lot of granule loss, things like that. And we do have quite a bit buildup of granules here near the drain. Very normal for there to be a little bit of ponding area next to the drain. Basically, you know, just most flat roofs don't drain perfectly, and so this is this is all to be expected. Basically, these granules come loose over time and then collect in the areas where any kind of ponding happens. And then we come over to the corners and we can see that there is a little bit of buildup of those granules in the corners as well. Z-bar counter flashing is right here, and that looks great. Over here we've got some wrinkling that happened. Pretty normal. It is the high point. It's not causing any kind of problems, but you know, the first area where this roof may have problems is here. Worth mentioning that we've got just galvanized metal flashings here, but then a lot of the house has the copper flashings. Mostly that's just designed with the home for looks. Yeah, we are close to the ocean, but not close enough to have a saltwater issue on the exposed metals of this roof. One thing worth mentioning, we come to this seam here. What we're looking for is bleed out, and bleed out is the actual asphalt melting and basically sealing together. We don't see any bleed out on this seam, but the majority of, doesn't necessarily mean that seam is bad, but what we really want to see, we come over here and we do see a perfect amount of bleed out, and that's just a professional quality install. And so it's nice that we do have that appropriate amount of bleed out where there is some ponding on this roof. We come over here and same thing, consistent with this roof down here. It's all in really good shape. There's a whole bunch of crap built up by the drain, which is kind of normal. Some moss and mildew growth and whatnot. What else was worth mentioning? Basically, I think that's the only original roof from 2005 when the home was built originally, and then I think everything else was re-roofed in the 2018 remodel. The roof looks consistent there. No ponding, no major issues that I can see on that roof either. And down here, again, consistent. I will address the cracks in the stucco while I've got the video rolling. I know enough to know that these cracks are all perfectly normal and totally acceptable and within industry standard as far as any kind of concrete product cracks. That's what it does. I don't see any major issues with any of the cracking that I see up here. This is probably the worst one here, and that's still pretty minor. Now we're on this lower roof that's attached to the garage. What I thought was tar and gravel is not. I believe it was done at the same time as the rest of the house. It appears to have just been covered in this white gravel, just probably for aesthetic purposes, because it is visible from the rooftop deck. And so general condition is good, install quality good. Looks like it's draining properly. There is a whole buildup of tree debris up here. I would whack that thing away from the building because that's no good. And get all this debris cleaned up, but other than that, this roof has a clean bill of health as well. Copper coping metal in really good condition here. Galvanized Z-bar in really good condition there. There's your drain down at that end. Even with all this crap on the roof, that drain is still clear, surprisingly. Oh, here's something worth pointing out. Check this out. So is what we call a T-patch. See this little extra piece of material right here? You put this here to reinforce where two pieces of drip edge meet. Basically, that creates a little spot right there with some vulnerability. And so you put a T-patch there, but that's the only one I found on the whole building. You come over here, and here's the seam. There's that little thing that pops up right there. No T-patch, but you can see that the material wants to come away from the drip edge there, and so it looks like there's been a little bit of sealant applied there. Pretty minor, but that's kind of the first point of failure on this roof, is when the torch starts separating from the drip edge. And so yeah, we could fill that and, you know, get several more years out of this roof. And actually, look at that, this is not copper, this is what's called bonderized. Worth pointing out, because it's a coating on the metal that makes this product stick to it better, so that happens less or less often.